So after 9 months of waiting, it's back. It's finally back. We have Game of Thrones. So, well, this was a decent episode. A lot of building, world building. But we did get a definite fact that Jon Snow has sadly croaked. Yes, the 991st Lord Commander of the Night's Watch is dead. But they didn't get rid of the body that quickly after Davos found him, as you can see here. We've got Team Dead Snow, as I like to call them here, very much on the side of the corpse and wanting to seek revenge on Alistair Thorne for absolutely destroying them and being a general thorn in their side. Yes, I know that was a shit pun. I'm very sorry. And after this video, I shall walk into the sea. Not really. Just subscribe. Just subscribe, please. Oh, God. But anyway, yes, we had this team absolutely furious that he's dead. And Davos playing devil's advocate and trying to somehow get them to kill the rest of the Night's Watch. Very cool that they went on to bring in the wildlings. We'll see that soon enough, as we have in the trailers. And bring in general people who actually owe their life to Jon Snow. So finishing up on the first top 10 moment, we also have the rest of the Night's Watch livid and fuming. So it's pretty much a divided down the middle in the Watch at the moment as to who will side with who. And I expect a resurrected Jon Snow will be coming in and saving the day. The general theme of this episode is pretty much setting up for the future and recapping what happened in the past. So literally, imagine the episode just carried on. This is what the characters would be doing. And also showing that they are getting over the previous episode and now moving on into the very, very last few acts of the show in its entirety. And we've moved ahead of the books. We can see here that Ramsay Bolton is a complete shit. And he does have some feelings for this little hound girl. But really, at the end of the day, she's just good meat for him to use to feed his hounds. He has also fallen foul of his father, Roose, who has pretty much said to him that you fucked it. You got rid of Sansa by playing your little games. And that's what's caused you to possibly lose Winterfell and lose it to his wife's daughter, or son, sorry, which is currently being brewing in that new wife. So it's very much in his interest to get back Sansa Stark. So this is setting up a brand new story, although it is pretty much the same as before when he's trying to find the kids. So now we have Sansa and Theon on the run, and what would turn out to be probably a good little body drama, well, it's not, because we now have Team Sansa in the way of Brienne of Tarth now joining them and making her oath. Yes, this is one hell of a piece of long-term planning by the creative staff behind Game of Thrones, and I very, very, very much commend them for this. And it is a better payoff in some respects than in the books when she was killed, as well as Podrick, by the reborn Lady Catelyn. So, I think the rebirth and resurrection is going to come from the Red Woman, as the title suggests. So, that whole introducing this kind of bringing back characters who are long dead is really going to fall to her. And we're going to see Brienne allow Sansa to meet her half-brother. Well, if he is, which we're not too sure, are we? So we're going to allow her to have the pain of realising he's dead. But I expect they will turn up just as he is about to be resurrected. So, as I said, characters are getting over what happened last time. And now we're going to finally see the absolute wrath that Cersei and Jaime are going to bring down upon the Sparrows with a newly reborn mountain. A zombie mountain, some may say. So we're going to see that absolutely just be amazing, and lots of sword fights I expect, and nuns on the run. The Queen is still in the kind of religious prison or church that she was left in last series, and is being trying to convince to go on a path of righteousness, which I can see the kind of dynamic happening here, where you've got a church or sept sponsored queen who is reformed, so to speak, against the absolute might of the Lannisters, and the other queen kind of thing with Cersei, where she will use brute force as opposed to just propaganda. Now, a lot of the time, a lot of the stuff from the books is actually missing in shows. However, this time I prefer that the fucking Martell storyline has, thank fuck, really been cut short. Because In a Feast for Crows is one of the most boring storylines I think I've ever read. A guy in a chair with Gal sitting there moaning. No. Now we've got the final. The Sand Snakes are really cool. They are so cool, and I'm glad we're going to see them take on the might of the Lannisters. And it could signal the fall of the Lannisters as they try to fight a war on two fronts. With the fall of the men and the Sand Snakes saying no more weak men will rule, it's very much signifying that women will be the focus of this series, with Daenerys on her way back, Arya working her way through as Daredevil, and of course Sansa working her way towards the throne. Very much we had the four kings before, with Stannis and Joffrey and Renly, but this time we are getting more of a female-centric storyline. Stealthily, I may add. And this next moment I really loved, with Varys and Tyrion going through the streets, and Varys pointing out the fact that Tyrion, while he is trying to do the best thing, does still look upon himself as royalty, even though he may not overtly know that he's doing it, but he's walking like a noble, which is a nice little thing, and it was a pretty funny him trying to speak his many languages and failing. Now, with the followers of R'hllor trying to put Stannis on the throne and miserably failing, they're now overtly going for Daenerys and trying to put her in power, because she is so obviously screwed over here, and well, she's now missing, so they are showing that her base of support, the free men here, have support in R'hllor, and the flames will guide them. So we could see a Harpies versus, again, more religious extremists, which is a sign of the times and another theme of this series. So we've got Detective Jorah here, suddenly being able to find a ring instantly in a massive field. Well, I once lost quite a lot of stuff in a field, and I wasn't able to find it as easily. But it could be the grayscale effect in his eyes. So we have also got them on the trail, obviously, of Daenerys, who is now in Vader Thrak. We get to meet the man here who took over the mantle of Khal Drogo and the rest of his forces, seemingly act as he did before, but with less tact with Daenerys, and she is obviously sought after, but once she reveals who she really is, she's now doomed to spend the rest of her life in really the company of the Loose Women, which is a British talk show with old women. So, well, damn. So I think Jorah Mormont's going to reveal himself and help her, and Tyrion is going to help her somehow by releasing the locked up dragons so she can actually escape, because obviously they do have a bond and they can find her. I'm really enjoying this storyline with Arya here and her training to become in the Hand or the League of Assassins or whatever. But it is really cool. I'm enjoying how she's... Now it's her turn to have some tragedy in her life, more so than her family being killed, but obviously she's been kind of safe throughout the series, somewhat, but I think that really this is going to be a lot of really arduous task for her and the girl who seemingly hates her for no reason. And lastly, we have got Melisandre reveal finally that she is really, really old and is sadly losing her powers somewhat and won't be able to help Jon Snow. We saw her withdrawn and seemingly shocked that she isn't able to do what she wants and bring him back or see him fight in Winterfell. So we know that her powers are desperately fading and we're not sure if she'll be able to resurrect him. But I can see her possibly giving up her life to save him, which would be very interesting. So drop a like if you've watched the episode and comment below what you think. Goodbye.